Hey, thanks for coming by and checking out Pete's Snake Bite Kit again. We're going to talk about the Cobra interviews. So these are going to be interviews with some Cobras and their owners. We're going to have some other cars in here too. It's going to be on the Cobra channel, so we're calling it the Cobra interviews. So, all right, so this first one, the guy lives not too far from me, my friend Mark, and his car is, well, hey, better yet, let's take a look at his car. Let's have Mark tell you about his Cobra.
Hi, Mark. How you doing?
Good, good.
So where are we going?
We're going to the Autorama here in Sandy, Utah.
And we're getting your Cobra loaded in, taking it to the show. So let's talk a little bit about your Cobra. So how long have you had that Cobra?
I finished building it in 2017, spring of 2017.
Okay, so it's been running a few years.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to build it?
Oh, it took me 3 years to build it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a slow process.
And pretty much built it by yourself? Did you have a lot of help?
Pretty much by myself. I had a couple of people that came to help me with, like my friend Roy. He came to help me with the electrical because I'm terrible at that. And another friend, Matt, he came to help me, you know, put the engine in and a few things like that. So
cool.
Yeah.
And who painted it? How'd the paint go?
Well, I originally had it painted at Miguel's Custom Paint down in San Diego area. And he painted that, did a fantastic job. And that was the original paint. Then I had this little fender bender that had to completely repaint it again.
Oh boy.
And that was US Street Rods here in Springville, Utah. And so that was quite the process.
So that's a paint job we see on it now?
Yes, exactly identical to what I had before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And it looks great. Okay, so this is a kit, and as we all know that have built these, it's not like a kit that goes together easy. Well, what brand is the manufacturer of your kit?
This is a Factory 5 Racing.
Okay.
And it's a MK4.
Oh, yeah. All right. That's their latest version,
Their latest
right?
version,
Yep.
correct, yeah.
And you're pretty happy with them and how it all worked out?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's, you know, one thing you have to understand is that when they give you the kit, which is maybe 50% of what you need, then there's a lot of work after that. And so, and as I always say, the manual is kind of a guide.
Yeah.
You can't take it literally unless you're building it exactly the way the manual tells you to.
You know, I built a Hurricane, as you know, and I would say, and I've said this on my channel, that less than half the things I put together went together first time and fit. What would you say the ratio was on yours?
Probably a little bit better than that. Yeah. Yeah, I would say maybe 70%.
But when people say kit car, you know, they're thinking that you bought it and put it all together and it was a weekend thing. Just isn't the case.
Kind of like Legos. You know, you just pop something together and no big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, except you find out some of the Legos are round and supposed to go on a square one, right?
That's true. That's true.
So the engine, it's a 289, right?
No, it's a 460.
Oh, that's right.
460 Super Cobra Jet.
Yeah.
From Ford Racing.
Nice. The engine looks like a sandwich in there. Got some pictures of that, but
yeah, it was had to do a little fabricating inside there to move things around just to get it in because it's tight.
So was the Factory 5, is it something where they've had 460s in them before, or was yours kind of a test to see if it had fit?
I'm not really sure. I know that when I told them what engine I was putting in it, they said, okay, we'll weld the motor mounts to accommodate that engine. So I'm assuming
they probably had a 385 in it before.
Yeah,
because the headers were bought from Factory 5?
Yes, they came.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they fit?
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
So what kind of horsepower do you think we got there?
At the flywheel, it's 550.
Oh, that's plenty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I haven't had it on a dyno, you know, or anything like that to know exactly what it is to the rear wheels, but it's gets up and goes.
Can merge into traffic on the freeway okay?
Oh, yeah, kind of all right.
Cool. So what kind of transmission we got in this thing?
It's a TKO 600, 5-speed.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's been pretty good?
It's been really good. I've heard, a few comments about difficulty in shifting or things like that. The only issue is third gear, because I want to go either straight up or over too far. So I have to let it kind of pop in the center and then move it up. And so it took a while to kind of get used to the pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a stick shift Mustang with a 6-speed, and it's kind of a busy place until you get used to all the options and places that shifter could go.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. And I did a mid shifter with a short knob, so that I didn't want the big original,
okay.
where you throw it half a mile.
It's
and
a little
back and
further
forth.
throw,
Yes,
yeah.
exactly, yeah.
So what about the rear end? What do we have out back?
It's a IRS. It was, I had to get the parts, some of them from a 89 Thunderbird SC.
Okay.
Because they had the right hubs and things, but I still had to have those reworked and get the studs in the right place. Didn't use the brakes off those or anything. And then I got, I put in a 8.8 Ford rear end, had that completely, obviously, redone. And it's 308 gears.
Okay.
So that matches up with my TKO pretty well. Yeah.
And having a pretty torquey engine up front, huh?
Oh, that 460 is, man, it's got 525 pounds of torque. Yeah, so in that little car, you got to be careful.
Yeah, that's the kind of engine I think tire manufacturers really like, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how fast have you had this thing going? Well, legally, that you would tell us about.
Legally?
Or what would you admit to?
Well, there's a statute of limitations, I think, or something on that.
Yeah,
so,
very important.
Yeah, okay. I've had it up to 140.
And how'd it feel?
It felt really good, except the wind just kills you. That wind is just spinning around and comes behind you, and anything that's in that cockpit has got to be tied down or it's gone.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've even had things like a windbreaker or something stuffed behind the seat, and it sucked that out.
Okay, good to
And
know.
threw it way up in the air. Yeah.
Well, stuff I've read, and I think everybody's heard it, where these cars in the 60s, the front end want to come off the ground going fast, but you've got some ballast up front, so that's got to help with
Yes,
it, right?
some good ballast, that's right. Yeah.
Have you ever done a track day or anything like that with it?
I have not.
Yeah.
No track days. I just use the back roads for my track day, if you want. I love the curves and the, some of the roads around here in Utah or on some of the cruises we've done have just been a blast. So that's what I do.
There's probably nothing as cool as driving a Cobra you built. That's been my experience, a little bit I've driven mine. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Just before this show, Pete, because you helped me with it, got the clutch and bell housing and tranny back in and all of this. And so I had a chance to take it out yesterday, since the roads were basically dry. It wasn't snowing finally. And it felt so incredibly cool. I mean, it was like I was driving it for the first time.
That's awesome.
It was it's a blast.
So jump ahead a little bit, something I always like to ask. What's the strangest question you've ever had when somebody's talking to you about your Cobra?
Well, the most common question is it an original or is it real?
I hear a lot of good rebuttals on that. What's your favorite? What do you tell them?
Well, I always touch it and say, yeah, I think it's real.
That's awesome.
And they go, well, I mean, and I said, you mean an original Shelby from the 60s? And yeah, I guess is that real? And no, I don't, because I don't have $1 million+, and if I did, I wouldn't have it at this car show.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, that's funny. I've heard over the years a lot of strange questions and responses, and I only have a few hundred miles on mine. I haven't had any real strange questions yet. I guess I got to get ready for that.
Well, you get all kinds of comments about what kind of car it is. Somebody will come up and say, "What is this? Is this a Corvette?" You know, is this things
nails on a chalkboard?
Yeah. So, you know, you get some of those.
That's interesting. All right, so a couple other things I'd like to ask. We're getting towards the end of this. Thanks for your time. What was your favorite thing about the build or about building your Cobra?
The well, favorite, most thrilling was when I drove it as a go-kart. That was, it was so exciting to be able to get out and actually drive it and try and figure, you know, some of the things you had to work on. That was really helpful. I think the next thing would be probably, you know, dropping the engine in, getting the tranny and everything hooked up. Then it finally seemed like it was a car.
It's happening.
Yes, it's gonna happen. I'm gonna have this on the road someday. Yeah.
That's cool. What would you say was the toughest part about building your car?
Putting a 460 in it. I had to change fuel lines, fuel pump, some fabricating, like I mentioned before, inside the cockpit there. And it was very difficult finding parts for some of the things. Like something as simple as a power steering hose. I hunted and hunted and hunted for the right fittings at each end, you know, to make it work. And I would say probably a couple of months. And then finally, I went into the basement of a Napa Auto Parts where they finally got sick of me coming in and said, just go down there and see what you can find. And I hunted and hunted, and finally I found what I needed. And I had to have it cut and spliced, you know, and put back together. But it was off a Hyundai.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so, you know, whatever you can find to make it work.
Yep. So would you do anything different? And if so, what would you do different if you were building again with the experience you've gained?
Build it faster.
Yeah.
I think building it faster would be pretty easy. It's hard to say what I would do different in the sense of the electrical, for example. I would make it easier to get to.
Okay.
Yeah, and some of the, make sure that you put the same color wire.
Yeah.
You know, don't run it partway black and then red or whatever. I did a few of those because I was in a hurry. And then you're trying to trace wires later on. You have no idea which one goes where.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We learn by doing on these things, don't we?
Yeah.
So with a license plate like my 401k, maybe this is the last one, or do you have another car you're going to do someday?
I would like to do a 33 hot rod from Factory 5 Racing. I just think that would be, it's so much fun.
And so would that be in addition to this, or would you sell the Cobra and do that?
No, I never sell the Cobra.
Add to the fleet.
That's right. Add to the fleet. That's right.
So please tell me that would not have an LS motor in it.
Oh, no.
What would it have?
Oh, I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't have an LS.
Like Johnny Cash would say, anything but Sue.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Well, what other interesting things? Anything you want to add to this?
Well, if you're considering building a Cobra, do it. It's just worth it. When you go out and drive that car, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like that car. And you're a one-man or woman car show wherever you go. And the cameras, you know, the phones pop up and they're taking photos of you and all of this. And that was really fun at first, and it got a little annoying.
Yeah.
But no, don't hesitate. You know, and if you can't maybe build it exactly the way you want because you don't have the finances, build it the best you can, and you won't regret it.
Wow. Sounds like words of wisdom. Hey, well, thanks for your time. We're going to go follow you through this show. Kind of looking forward to that. Well, thanks a lot.
Yeah.
All right, Mark, so we got your car in here. It looks great. How's the show been so far?
Well, it just opened up here a few hours ago, so it's been interesting. Lots of people coming by. I think tomorrow will be the big day.
Yeah.
But lots of cars in here, beautiful things.
and so it's fun to go around and see what people have.
So it looks great. How long did you spend detailing it before the show, would you say?
A couple hours.
Yeah,
At least a couple of hours.
looks
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate you letting us take a look at your car. This thing looks great, and I hope you have a lot of fun with it.
Great, thanks, Pete.
All right. Thanks.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that interview with Mark and his Cobra, or his Cobra and with Mark, however it goes. But appreciate you watching this. There's more to come. I've got a few of these lined up. If you want to have your car on the Cobra interview, you guys, I'm on YouTube. You know how to get a hold of me. And by the way, if you want to know when the next one comes out, you can keep checking back every day on Pete Snakebite Kid, or you can subscribe and it'll tell you when the next one comes. Thanks for watching.